So I thought I'd make a video on some of the biggest events in sports with the most amount of betting volume taken in these events and these sports leagues. So the sports betting industry basically takes in about 700 billion and 1 trillion a year. That's just an estimate. And in 2017, it was already a record-breaking 4.68 billion, which was wagered in, I believe, Nevada sports books alone, which is crazy. It's crazy because sports betting is becoming more popular each and every year. And some of the biggest betting events, like this one right here, the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is pretty much king. They take up the most bets placed in the U.S., which in 2018, when the Eagles were playing the Patriots, it was 158.6 million worth of wagers at Nevada sports books, and that was record breaking that was a record breaker for the previous year, which was 138 million wagered during the Super Bowl, which was the previous year. So it's estimated, like the Gaming Association is pretty much estimated at about 4.76 billion total for this league, which is insane. And this second one, I would probably put this at the top, but since most of these bets are being placed around the world, I'm not going to include that at the top. But if you want to go even deeper into that, I'd probably say the FIFA World Cup is the most wagered because uh, this league takes in the most bets from around the world, and pretty much 70% is, from around the world. It's the world's most popular sport, so that's gonna be the sport, the league that takes in the most money, and uh, it's mostly from all the qualifying rounds when they play. All 210 countries like participating in those qualifying rounds, and it's kind of like almost like March Madness. Basically, I'm gonna get to that one in a second, but the FIFA World Cup takes in about 260 million for that tournament, just for that tournament, bet worldwide, and those are official figures as well. So really, really crazy if you think about it. And then the third one is March Madness right here because it's 68 teams. That's why they call it March Madness. And this is about 10 billion wagered on March Madness. Last year it was 10 billion in 2018, and most of this being wagered is not even bet legally. So you can just imagine if 300 million is placed in one legal state, which is Nevada, but 10 billion is wagered overall, that means that only 3 to 5% of those bets were bet legally. Insane how many people are betting illegally now because of that. So the next one I want to get to is the Kentucky Derby, and I'm not surprised it's number 4 on the list because it is the longest running sports event in the country. And this just draws a lot of spectators because they're the ones that wear those funky hats all the time, and it has a lot of like prestige. A lot of millionaires attend this event, as well as a lot of celebrities. So it definitely draws a big crowd. 150,000 spectators. Uh, that's just an average. And then I think the 144th Kentucky Derby pulled in like 16.2 million viewers. And Churchill Downs, for just the main race, was the main race alone was about 139 million wagered. And that was a previous record from the previous year, which was 137 million. That's just the main race, but Churchill Downs, the combined total for the whole race card was 209 million bet and on Churchill Downs during that event when the Kentucky Derby happened. So that's definitely number fourth on the list here. So this next one, number five, is probably the Grand National, and this is like equestrian. This is based out of Britain, so I'm not really too familiar with this sporting event. Obviously out of England, but they say it's like one of the most hardest and most challenging horse races because they're the ones that go over the jumps. There's like 30 jumps that they have to go over the horses. So the royal family will attend this, as well as a lot of celebrities will attend this horse racing event. And actually, I think they had more viewers than the Kentucky Derby at one time. So 600 million viewers. It was the most watched TV event in the world. I think actually the Grand National is watched more than the Kentucky Derby. I'm not really too sure at what point, but I know the Grand National had more viewers. Um, and yeah, it was roughly about 400 million was wagered on this. And I'm not even sure about the numbers for the U.S. because this is mostly based out of England. So I'm not even really too sure about those numbers. But that's why this one would come in on number five on the list. So like I said, that's the top five right there. Um, I'll just run it over one more time. We got the Super Bowl, the FIFA World Cup. I'm putting that at number two, like I said, because the Super Bowl is a major sport in the U.S. Uh, I got number three at March Madness, four Kentucky Derby, and five the Grand National. So I'll be back with another video. I hope this was helpful. Determining the best and biggest betting volumes.